So the recording is on. Welcome, everyone. Let's just start this session. Let's just start this session on the 4-hour chart and the daily chart, and let's do a top-down analysis. So just take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, just one more checking if you can hear me well. One more checking if you can see my screen. So everyone could.
Yeah, good.
Good. Okay. So what can we actually see on the 4-hour chart? What is the 4-hour chart showing us? It's showing us that prices reacted on a daily demand zone down here recently. And after a daily demand reaction, after a daily demand mitigation reaction, it created a huge V-shaped recovery, as you can see. So price was in an extremely bearish trend at this region. Let me just show you. Price was in an extremely bearish trend, creating a series of lower lows, lower highs over and over again. So this is the 4-hour chart. Basically, this structure is the weekly chart. This structure is the daily chart. This structure is the monthly chart. So every single chart, every single higher time frame chart was in a bearish trend, right? So this region was extremely bearish. So as you can see, here was a daily demand zone. This downside demand area was a daily demand zone on the extreme of the leg. As you can see, here's the extreme of the leg. We've talked about this demand zone. We've talked about this area pretty often in the previous live sessions and recap videos. So this is a pretty valuable demand zone because it has started the whole bullish order flow to the upside at this region, as you can see. So it was the start of this bullish upside order flow here, which was leading to a bearish order flow at this region. So price is reacting on this daily demand zone. This is a daily demand zone, not a 4-hour demand zone. So here's a reaction. Here's a V-shaped recovery, as you can see, after the mitigation of this demand zone. And actually, here's a 4-hour change of character to the upside here at this region. So this was the last structural low point that has caused the last break of structure here to the downside on the 4-hour chart. It caused the tap of this overall demand zone. It swept some liquidity at this region, I believe. So this was the last recent 4-hour supply zone. And this was the last recent supply zone before this supply zone. Actually, price has changed character on the 4-hour charts several places after the mitigation of this daily demand zone. As you can see, here's the first change of character, here's the second change of character, and here's some liquidity building up at this region. Okay. As you might know, every single time frame is fractal, right? Every single time frame can be confirmed by another time frame. Let's just go through these time frames. So here's a daily time frame. Here's a daily demand zone. A daily demand zone can be confirmed with a 4-hour chart. It can be confirmed by a 4-hour change of character and 4-hour confirmations. So for a daily demand zone, we need a 4-hour confirmation in order to actually break the trend. So as you can see, price has tapped this daily demand zone, change character on several places on the 4-hour chart. So the actual bearish trend at this region has been trapped. It has been reversed into bullish trend. So every time frame is fractal. Daily chart can be confirmed with the 4-hour chart. The 4-hour chart can be confirmed with what? I'm asking you guys.
15-minute chalk.
15 minutes.
Exactly.
Chalk.
The 4-hour chart can be confirmed with the 15-minute chart. So let me just write it down here. Daily chart can be confirmed with the 4-hour chart. These are pairs. These are golden pairs. The 4-hour chart can be confirmed with the 15-minute chart. The 15-minute chart can be confirmed with what?
1-minute chalk.
1 minute, exactly. The 1-minute chart confirms the 15-minute chart. And here's the last one. I'm not using it, but the 1-minute chart can be confirmed with what? 15 second or 5 second? Yes.
5 seconds.
The 1-minute chart can be confirmed with the 50-second or 5-second chart. So every single time frame is fractal. Every single time frame has a pair that confirms the other time frame. Daily has been confirmed with the 4-hour, 4-hour has been confirmed with the 15-minute, 15-minute has been confirmed with the 1-minute, 1-minute has been confirmed with the 15-sec or the 5-sec. So these are the confirmation pairs. Okay, just memorize it. You will be able to rewatch this video and actually write it down or just take notes. So all of these time frames confirms each other's. As you can see, this was a daily demand zone down here, which has been tapped, and after this, price has changed character on the upside on several places. So what does this actually mean? I'm asking you, what does this mean regarding this overall trend, regarding this overall bearish trend? What calculations can we make after the change of character on the 4-hour chart after the demand daily mitigation?
We are in a bullish trend.
We are in a bullish trend. Till when? Till we tap into some 4-hour supply zone, right? So at this region, after the mitigation of this daily demand zone and after the 4-hour change of character on several places, price has turned into bullish. So at this region, our price action or bias is actually bullish. Okay, it will be bullish until price steps into some sort of 4-hour supply zone, right? Let's find the last recent unmitigated 4-hour supply zone that's valuable for us. Please just mark it for me on the chart. You can draw on my chart, please. Anyone? Can you repeat?
Sorry, can you repeat what you said?
Couldn't hear?
Yeah, I couldn't hear. What did you say?
Okay, let me just repeat.
Yeah, even a bit. You're talking a bit fast.
Okay,
And
sorry. Let me just...
I just have a delay in the internet, so.
Okay, sorry.
It's
Let me
not your
just slow
fault.
down.
It's not your
So I
fault.
just said that price in this. Yes, actually, this is the correct supply zone, but let me just repeat myself. Price at this region is bullish. It will be bullish until price steps into some sort of valuable 4-hour supply zone. And I ask you to actually find that 4-hour supply zone, and someone just marked it out here. This is the last recent valuable supply zone for us. And if price steps into this 4-hour supply zone and gives a reaction on which time frame? Which time frame?
15 minutes.
15 minutes.
15
exactly.
minutes.
If it gives a reaction on the 15-minute chart, so for example, creates a change of character on the top of this supply zone and creates a 15-minute change of character or 15-minute break of this zone, so it breaks above on the 15-minute chart up above this zone, the trend will become firm. So at this region, up to this supply zone, price is bullish. We are waiting for a reaction on this supply zone, and if price reacts on this supply zone and creates a 15-minute change of character to the downside, the trend will be bearish again, and the overall bearish trend and this region can be continued. As you can see, please just remove this drawing from the stream because I can't see the chart from it. So yeah, I don't know who drew it here, but please just remove this drawing, or I will just do manually. Sorry, clear all drawings, perfect. So, as you can see, we have a liquidity just below this zone. Here's a perfect liquidity line just below this supply zone that was built up for this upper supply area that was leading to a break of structure. And actually, this is a pretty valuable supply zone because it was leading to an overall higher time frame break of structure here. As you can see, this was the last recent structural low point here. Let me just mark out this structure at this region. This was the last recent structural low point. High, low, high, low, high, low. So at this line, as you can see, price has created a break of structure, but not on the first candle, not on this wick area, and not on this area. This wasn't the break of structure. The real break of structure of this structural swing low point has came into the market at this line. So from this supply zone, right? So basically, this supply up here is a pretty valuable supply zone for us because it has broke the overall swing low point at this region. Here's a swing low break of structure. Here's an actual break of structure. I mean, last recent break of structure. Here's an inception movement. Here's a liquidity building up for this zone. You raise your hand. Okay, just a minute. So basically, this 4-hour supply zone have every single criteria in order to become a pretty valuable supply zone. Okay, let me just hear your question. Cassie?
Okay, when you're done with the analysis, I'll ask my question. When you're done.
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
When you're done with the analysis, I'll ask my question.
When I'm done
When when you're done with the analysis, I will ask my question.
Okay, okay, perfect. Okay. There will be a question and answer section at the end of this webinar, okay? So you'll be able to ask your questions freely. So, perfect. Actually, where was I? We are waiting for a tap of this 4-hour supply zone on the higher time frame. So this is our directional bias. Our directional bias at this region is bullish, and we are waiting for a tap of this supply zone. This is our higher time frame plan. This is our higher time frame plan for the upcoming weeks, for the upcoming days. Okay, let's just focus on the downer region of this leg because there's lots of price action missed out. So what can we see at this region? We can see that price has changed character here on the upside first. Here's the first change of character because change of character can be considered a bit weak as you know. And here's the second change of character to the upside again, as you can see. So price has double change character after the mitigation of this demand zone. What else can we see? We can see that price has created this valuable demand zone right here that was causing the second change of character and the huge inefficient push to the upside with this movement here. As you can see, after the change of character to the upside and the liquidity sweep at this region, this was a perfect liquidity sweeping week because there was equal taps, First tap, second tap, price swapped those equal taps here, created more liquidity, and after the liquidity sweep and liquidity creation, it just reversed to the downside and tapped into this 4-hour demand zone that has caused the overall change of character and inefficient push to the upside. Okay, so as you can see, price is reacting on this demand zone and couldn't break below it with body break on the 4-hour chart. So all of these movements are considered as just a liquidity call action. So this demand zone did hold. This is one more confirmation for the bullish overall higher time frame trend at this region. Okay, what else can we see? We can see that price has tapped this demand zone from a 4-hour supply zone. So we have this unvaluable 4-hour supply zone at this region. And why am I saying that it's unvaluable? I'm just asking you again. Why am I saying that this supply is unvaluable?
It's a weak high.
Exactly. That's the first good point. It's a weak high. And other than being a weak high, it couldn't break below demand zone, couldn't break any demand zone at this region on the 4-hour chart, as you can see. And in order to become a really valid supply/demand zone, it has to, what has it has to do? I'm just asking you again. I'm asking you the zone criteria. What criteria has to have in order to become a valid zone?
Volume, increase in volume.
Breakout structure, that's the first, yes. Taking out demand.
Liquidity
Exactly.
sweep.
Inefficiency.
Inefficiency, breakout structure, liquidity, perfect. Thank you, guys. So other than inefficiency, this zone has created nothing, right? So there's only inefficiency that has been caused by this zone at this region. This is the only criteria that this supply zone has. Just compare this zone to the demand zone. This demand zone has caused change of character, caused liquidity sweep, caused liquidity creation, created huge inefficiency. This zone has created only inefficiency. So compared to this zone, this will be weak and this will be broken sooner or later. So this is the second confirmation for the upcoming bull trend at this region. So I believe price will break above this supply zone. 100% it will break above this supply zone and it will continue the overall bullish trend up to this supply zone because there's a bunch of liquidity left out just below this valuable supply zone. And believe me, this supply has to be tapped. This supply is a pretty strong supply zone and it has to be tapped because it broke this swing low point, created inefficiency and has liquidity. I don't know when it will be tapped. I don't know if it will be a week or it will be a month or it will be years, but this supply zone has to be tapped and it will be tapped sooner or later. And I believe it will be tapped sooner. So conclusion, this supply zone will be broken. This supply zone will be broken on this week or the upcoming week, 100%. Price will break above this supply zone and it will continue the overall bullish order flow. So first possible scenario on the 4-hour chart, let me just mark this supply zone out. First possible scenario on the 4-hour chart, price creates a small rejection here to the downside, reacts on some sort of 15-minute demand zone, liquidity sweep, etc., reacts on that demand zone, breaks above this 4-hour supply zone, creates a retracement and continues the overall bullish order flow up to this supply zone, where it changes character to the downside and continues the bearish order flow. But this is a really, really long-term plan. This is a long-term plan. All we have to do is just focus on this region. All we have to do is focus on what price is actually giving us at this specific supply zone. If price breaks above this supply zone, so let's just see the scenarios for this supply zone. If price breaks above this supply zone, just as I showed you, we can continue the overall bullish order flow and we can ride the expectation order flow up to this supply zone. That will be the best ideal plan for us for the upcoming days and weeks. Second scenario, if price can't break above this supply zone, that's the lower probability setup. That's the lower probability scenario for the upcoming days and weeks. If price can't break over this supply zone and reacts on some sort of 50-minute supply zone at this region, and let's say it creates a 50-minute change of character to the downside here at this region or at this region, we'll be able to ride the expectation order flow to the downside. But this is lower probability setup than the long scenario. So I believe the long scenario will happen on the upcoming days and weeks. Okay, what else can we see on the 4-hour chart? We can actually see that price has built up more liquidity at this region, as you can see. This could be considered as liquidity trend line here inside of this supply zone. And we will just see that if there's any other 50-minute refinement inside of this 4-hour supply zone, because I believe there will be an extreme 15-minute supply zone somewhere up here that has to be tapped and has to be broken. Okay, so these are the upcoming possibilities and scenarios for the 4-hour chart and the long term. Can you just... Sorry. Okay, can I just continue with the 15-minute chart? All clear, or you've got any
Yes.
question?
Everything okay?
Here's just a question. Why is it the supply zone did not break demand? That's exactly why we are not calling this a valuable supply zone. this couldn't break below the demand, but as you can see, price is clearly reacting on this supply zone. It's clearly rejecting on this supply zone several times because it created inefficiency. And on the 15-minute chart, it has created a change of character or break of structure. So basically, this is the 4-hour chart. Let me just draw the 4-hour chart quick. This is the 4-hour chart, right? Creating these type of movements. This is the 4-hour chart, and currently this is our price action now. Okay, just focus on this leg. On the 4-hour chart, it's a simple leg. It's a simple 4-hour leg with a high and a low point, right? Here's a low point, here's a high point. Here's a low point, here's a high point. Until this low breaks, there won't be a change of character. Until this high breaks, there won't be a break of structure. So this is our 4-hour structure. Let's just focus on this region, this leg. On the 15-minute chart, it looks like this. I'm just drawing this simple leg. On the 15-minute chart, it looks like this, right? This is the 15-minute chart compared to the 4-hour leg. So basically, after the high point has reached and price has reversed here on the 4-hour chart, price has created a 15-minute change of character to the downside and started a bearish order flow. So basically, this supply zone, this 4-hour supply zone has caused a change of character / break of structure on the 15-minute chart somewhere around here. So there was a break of structure or change of character here, and it took out some demand zone at this region. So there could have been a demand zone that have been taken out by this supply zone, right? Because time frames are correlated. But the overall 4-hour structure, has not been broken yet, as you can see, by this supply zone. It couldn't break below this demand zone. But as I said, on the 15-minute chart, more likely it broke below demand zone at this region. Let me just show you at this region, and it created an inefficient push. So this 15-minute zone broke below demand zone. That's why we consider this as a valid supply zone on the 4-hour chart and the 15-minute chart too. But it's not valuable. It's not as valuable as this demand zone. It's not as valuable as this supply zone. It's just a simple 4-hour supply zone that has caused change of character / break of structure on the 15-minute chart. Make sense? Was it understandable? Okay, perfect. So let me just continue on the 15-minute chart. And let's see the actual price action on the 15-minute chart. So let me just show you here the example I was just talking about at the previous example. So here's the 4-hour leg. This is how the 4-hour leg actually looks like. On the 15-minute chart, as I show you, this looks like this. On the 15-minute chart, it changed character here to the downside with this movement, changed character here to the upside, changed character here to the upside too. This is the 4-hour supply zone that we just marked out that is unvaluable. So here was a 15-minute change of character here to the upside, and from this supply zone, price has changed character here to the downside. So on the 15-minute chart, actually this supply zone has changed character to the downside and created an inefficient push, as you can see. But on the 4-hour chart, it will be unvaluable, right? It's a valuable 15-minute zone, but it's an unvaluable 4-hour zone. And you can actually identify it will be weak or strong by just simply looking at the correlated timeframes. If the 4-hour chart, it shows that it's weak, it shows that it's unvaluable, then it will be weak, right? If the 15-minute shows that it's strong, but the 4-hour chart shows that it's weak, it will be broken. So just use the multiple timeframes. Okay. So after this region, after the demand tap here at this region, the 4-hour demand tap, price has changed character to the upside here, as you can see. Here was a less break of structure to the downside with body break. As you can see, it was not just a big break, it was a body break. And after this, price has changed character on the long side with this movement from this demand zone down here. I've showed you this demand zone in the markup section yesterday. So as you can see from this demand zone, price has actually changed character to the upside with this movement and created bunch of liquidity just above this zone with this movement. As you can see, here's the liquidity. Okay. What else can we see? We can see that price has created this 15-minute zone, this 15-minute supply zone inside of the 4-hour zone. So here's a perfect refinement of this 4-hour zone, this overall 4-hour zone, down to this 15-minute supply zone. Why is it a valuable 15-minute supply zone? Because it changed character here to the downside and started the overall bearish order flow down to this 4-hour demand region. So this will be a pretty valuable supply zone. Also, it had liquidity. As you can see, here's liquidity that has been fed by this overall movement. Okay. What else can we see on the 4-hour chart? I mean, 15-minute chart, sorry. We can see that this demand zone right here has caused the overall liquidity sweep and the supply tap. As you can see, it has caused the inefficient push to the upside, liquidity sweep at this region, supply tap, break of structure, higher time frame break of structure. So this demand zone caused everything, right? This demand zone was broken after the reaction on this supply zone. So basically, there was a flip zone. There was a flip zone And the flip zone could have been this, because as you can see, prices reacted several times on this demand zone. Let me just extend this zone, reacted several times, couldn't body break below this zone. Here, as you can see, couldn't body break. And the actual change of character and actual break of this zone has been caused by this, sorry, not this. Okay, by this supply zone here. Okay. So higher time frame supply tap, 4-hour supply tap, 4-hour supply mitigation, 50-minute demand zone that has caused the overall supply mitigation, reaction on this demand zone, flip of that overall demand zone here at this region, as you can see. Price couldn't mitigate the actual 15-minute character changing demand zone down here, which was caused the overall demand control after the mitigation of the 4-hour demand zone here at this region. So as you can see, price swept the liquidity, but it couldn't tap the zone. It couldn't tap into this zone, but actually swept the liquidity. And after the liquidity sweeping movement, let me just extend this line. After the liquidity sweeping movement, price is reversed to the upside, as you can see. I don't know who is it, but please just mute yourself. Sorry. No problem. So after the actual liquidity sweep, price is reversed to the upside, as you can see, tapped into this flip zone, tapped into this 15-minute flip zone at this region, reacted on this flip zone several times, and created a change of character here actually on the 15-minute chart too, as you can see. So here was a change of character. This happened in London session, but this was, I believe, a fake zone. This was a fake Frankfurt zone at this region that has caused the overall supply, change of character inside of this supply zone. Did you guys take this setup? Did you guys open a position on this supply zone? Have you been liquidated? No. I'm just asking anyone who's trading London. Vignesh, yes. Okay, perfect. Let me just continue. So basically, prices mitigated this flip zone, this 15-minute flip zone. And after the mitigation of this flip zone, it created a change of character downside, which was leading to a creation of the supply zone. Because if there's a change of character, there will be a supply zone that has caused the change of character, right? If there's a change of character, there will be a opposite side zone that has caused the break of the actual zone. So here was a demand zone. This supply caused the break of this demand zone, flip zone. Perfect. But here comes the other flip zone. Prices actually flipped this zone, flipped the flip zone, which caused the creation of the demand zone that was leading to a flip of this overall supply zone here at this region, as you can see. Okay, so at this region, we have two valuable demand zones. The first one is down here, which has been left unmitigated. So we can still extract a reaction on this zone. If price reverses somewhere on this supply zone, then this demand zone won't give enough reaction to reverse price actually to the upside again. So we can just expect a reaction on this demand zone, small reversal, break of this demand zone. So this will be an entry point. This will be an entry point for the upcoming short possibilities. So basically, if price steps into this demand zone, creates a reversal on it, breaks below, there will be an entry point that will lead to short entries. Okay, so let me just continue. At this region, we have two valuable demand zones. The first one is here, and the second one is here because it caused the flip of the flip zone. Flip zone, flip zone, flip the flip zone. So this is a pretty valuable demand zone that has caused the overall flip of the flip zone. What else can we see? On the 5-minute chart, on the 1-minute chart, there will be liquidity here, as you can see. This is not considered as a perfect liquidity. This is not considered as a valuable liquidity, but this is still a liquidity. This could be still liquidated. Why am I saying that this could be a liquidity? Because here, as you can see, this demand zone caused the break of the last structural point. This one to the upside, caused inefficiency to the upside, but it's part of the liquidity. This could be a liquidity on the 1-minute chart. Let me just zoom out. As you can see, this is a perfect liquidity in the 1-minute chart. First bottom, second bottom, liquidity for the downer zone area, because there's huge inefficiency at this region that needs to be filled up. Let me just switch back to the 50-minute chart. Sorry. So this inefficiency, this huge inefficiency needs to be filled up sooner or later. So this is one more confluence for the liquidity sweeping and inefficient filling up movement down to this flip zone. Okay.
Marcel?
Yeah, let me hear.
Can I ask you a very quick question?
Of course.
This is where sometimes, this liquidity where you draw it, this is where I get sometimes confused if it is a liquidity or not. So sometimes I take the demand zone from this area and I got liquidated. But how can I say 100% that this is liquidity? I have to switch to lower time frame?
Yeah, actually. But here's the
Okay.
tricky part about this. Here's the tricky part.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is the 15-minute chart. We are waiting. We are expecting the 15-minute mitigation of this 15-minute zone. So for a 15-minute zone, there have to be a 15-minute liquidity. Because this isn't a 15-minute liquidity, this isn't a 15-minute liquidity, this is 1-minute liquidity. And for a 15-minute zone, we need a 50-minute liquidity. So for example, something like this on the 15-minute chart. And this is just one single pullback, not a double bottom. But it's a double bottom on the 1-minute chart. So if there was a liquidity on the 15-minute chart above the 15-minute zone, that will be liquidated 100%. But if there's just 1-minute liquidity above the 15-minute zone, that won't be liquidated 100%. There's a chance to be swept. There's a chance that this liquidity will be swept, but price is a chance to actually reverse on this zone too.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Sorry for interrupting. Sorry
No
for
problem, no
interrupting.
problem. This could be a liquid trend line also. Let me just switch to the 1-minute chart and see if this is a liquid trend line. Actually, this could be a liquid trend line, as you can see. So let me just switch back to the 15-minute chart and continue the analysis. Okay, what can we see at this region? Prices react on this demand zone. I'm sorry, supply zone. Prices react on this supply zone and reverse immediately. But there was no character changing movement at this region on the 15-minute chart, right? So we can't really identify a good 15-minute supply zone at this region, but we can identify a good 5-minute supply zone / 1-minute supply zone. There's no clear 5-minute supply zone either. Let me just find a clear 1-minute supply zone at this region that has caused the change of character. There was no change of character on the 1-minute chart also, so there won't be any supply zone. There won't be any valuable supply zone on the 1-minute chart. We can just actually expect a reaction on a high point because price usually reacts on some high points. So as you can see, here's a high point, and this is a weak high point because it couldn't break below the last structural low point. As you can see, this is the last structural low point. This couldn't break below this demand zone, couldn't break below this last structural low point. So this will be weak. This is a weak high. This will be a strong high more likely. As you can see, price is reacting. Okay, and it's broken. So this low point has become strong at this moment because it could break above the last structural high point and it body closed above it, as you can see. So we have a new strong low point, which is this one. Let me just map out your structure. Let me just map out the overall structure. At this region, price has created this high point. This is a less strong high because it could break below the structural low point. I'm just marking out the 15-minute structure. The 4-hour structure is completely different, as you can see, because the 4-hour structure is bullish. I'm just marking the 15-minute current structure. So this was a strong high. This was a weak low because it couldn't break above the strong high. So these are the real structural highs and lows. This is the real structural high point at this region. This is the real structural low point at this region on the 15-minute chart. Everything between these highs and lows will be just substructure. So all of these highs and lows are just sub high and lows. Okay, let's just mark out the sub high and lows because if price is ranging, and usually price creates this price action if it's ranging, as you can see, between a high and low, we have to mark out the sub highs and sub lows because we can trade based on those sub highs and sub lows. So let me just clarify something. There will be a change of character to the upside if this high point breaks. There will be a break of structure to the downside if this low point breaks. This is the overall higher time frame structure. But on this substructure, we can identify several highs and lows, several weak highs and lows. So as you can see, this could be considered as a strong low because it could break above this high point. This is a strong low at this region. This is a weak high because it couldn't break above the strong low. This is a strong low because it could break above the weak high. New weak high because it couldn't break below the last strong low. Sorry. This is a new strong low because it could break above last weak high. This is a new weak high because it couldn't break above the last strong low here, as you can see. And this will be our new strong low because it could break above the weak high. So the overall substructure on the 15-minute chart is actually bullish, as you can see, creating series of higher highs and higher lows, creating series of strong lows, weak highs, strong lows, weak highs. So this is our substructure, but this is the real structure. Okay, does it make sense? Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so what can we actually expect from the 15-minute chart? We can actually expect a deeper mitigation of the demand zones either of this one, either of this one, or either of this one. We can expect a deeper mitigation of these demand zones, and we can expect the continuation of the overall bullish order flow to the upside. This could be the best possible scenario for today. But let me just switch to the 5-minute chart and see if there's anything. So there was the break of the last structural high point at this region. Sorry, let me just read. Need BOS for new highs, mean body break, sorry. For break of structure, body breaks. For change of character, weak break. So there was a break of the last structural high point, which has been broken by a body closer, as you can see. So this is a real structural breaking point. Okay, 5-minute chart. What can we expect on the 5-minute chart? We can expect a retracement after the new break of structure. So we can expect some sort of retracement here at this region, 5-minute change of character at the downside, reaction on that 5-minute supply zone, 1-minute order flow down to this demand zone or down to this demand zone. After the demand tap, after either of this demand tap, or this demand tap, we can expect a 1-minute change of character on these demand zones and continuation of the overall bullish order flow to the upside. We just need a 1-minute change of character on these specific demand zones for the continuation of the bullish order flow. But you'll still be able to trade the actual short counter trend movements to the downside down to these demand areas. If price changes character here at some region and reacts on that 5-minute character changing supply zone and changes character on the 1-minute chart too, you'll be able to ride the expectation of short order flow down to these demand regions. But just remember that all of the short trends, all the short movements at this region will be considered as counter trend movements. All of the bullish movements, all of the upside movements will be considered as main trend movements. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Actually, let me just check the upcoming high impact news for the day. And as you can see, 30 minutes before New York opens, after New York opens, there will be 2 high impact news. And actually, there will be lots of high impact news today. But in New York session, there will be only 30 minutes after New York opens. So 30 minutes after New York opens, there will be 2 high impact news. And all of these news will be in the evening. So yeah, I would recommend you not to trade in the first 30 minutes of New York session. Just wait for these news to hit in, wait for these news to actually show their hands, show their directions. And after the storm has been calmed down, you can just open a position. Let me just mark some more demand zones out at this region. Actually, this is the last recent valuable 15-minute demand zone. This is the next valuable demand zone. So we have 3 current demand zones at this region. Let me just switch to the 1-minute chart and let's see what can we expect from the 1-minute chart price action. How can we identify liquidity sweep or change of character? It's in the video course. Have you seen the video course yet? It's in the video course, literally. Okay, what can we expect from the 1-minute chart? We can expect the tap of this zone first, and if there will be a mitigation of this 15-minute zone, we can expect a 1-minute change of character to the upside, or we can expect a 1-minute break to the downside. If the 1-minute change of character happens to the upside, we are able to ride the continuation order flow, the continuation bullish expectation order flow to the upside with the full criteria entry, with the perfect criteria entry. So let's say price changes character here to the upside, creates a liquidity for a zone, demand zone tap, demand zone mitigation, continuation of the overall order flow to the upside. What can we do actually if price breaks below this zone? Let's say there's a reaction on this zone, and after this, there's a break of this zone. We can just easily wait for a 1-minute zone creation. We can wait for a good criteria entry that was leading to a break of this actual 15-minute zone. And after the good criteria entry and the mitigation of this supply zone, we can just simply enter in a short position and target this downward demand area. All you have to do is react on what price is actually giving you. So once again, if price reacts on this demand zone, creates a 1-minute change of character, you can write the expectation long order flow. If price reacts on this demand zone and actually breaks below this zone, you'll be able to write the expectation short order flow down to this demand area, this deeper demand area. And the same goes on for the downward demand areas. If price creates a change of character here, you'll be able to write the expectation long order flow. If price breaks below this zone, you'll be able to write the expectation short order flow to the extreme flip zone, which is down here. So basically, that's the plan. That's the plan for today. But I believe the short continuation for this zone has a higher probability because price is actually in a premium region at this point, and it's the real top of the 15-minute lag. So this is the 15-minute lag. Let me just zoom out. This is the 15-minute lag, right? This is the 15-minute bullish lag. And this demand zone is just at the premium, at the top area of this 15-minute lag. So we need a deeper mitigation of the demand zone. So I believe this demand zone will be broken and the downer demand areas will be tapped. And we can expect a good reaction on either of this zone or either of this zone. Okay.
Marcel, can I ask a quick question?
Of course.
We need a 1 minute body break, right? Or a 15-minute body break?
For this 15-minute zone,
Yes, sir.
we need a 1 minute body break
Okay.
because 1 minute time frame confers the 15-minute time frame. This is a 15-minute zone. Sorry, just mute yourself because your microphone is. Thank you. Thank you. So this is a 15-minute zone. Which time frame confirms the 15-minute zone? The 1 minute, right? So on a 15-minute zone, we need a 1 minute confirmation. But if price breaks below this zone on the 15-minute chart, and let's say creates a clear 15-minute supply zone that was leading to a break of this demand zone, price has a higher chance to levitate back up to this supply zone, create a 1 minute change of character and continue the movement. But if there's a clear break and clear entry criteria in the 1 minute chart, for example, a double tap entry, break of structure to the downside, you'll be able to write the expectation order flow based on that perfect criteria. But yeah, answering to your question, 1 minute change of character or 1 minute break of this zone will be perfectly enough. But body break of this zone. Which premium lag? This is a 15-minute lag. Or you can consider this as a 15-minute lag. Let's read some 15-minute lag, but this is the whole 15-minute lag. And this is on the upper area of this whole lag. So price has a greater chance to break below this zone and mitigate some down or demand areas than just reverse on this zone. So that's why I'm expecting a break of this actual demand zone. Okay, guys. Have you got any question about today's session, about today's price action? How you see lunchtime rib zone, sorry, during the week until now? Actually, sorry, mate. Actually, I couldn't identify the lunchtime zones yet because it's moving randomly. I can't see a pattern in it yet, but I will update you guys. For now, let's just stick to the 1 hour before New York session. That will be our lunchtime zone, and I will update you with the actual calculations. Yo, okay?
Marcel,
Yes, mate.
what price basically? So right here. 1 second. Isn't there a 4 hour zone that it tapped into?
That's a 4 hour zone, which has been mitigated several times already.
Yeah. Okay.
And there's no clear 15-minute zone inside of this 4 hour zone. Expect
Yeah.
this one, as you can see, but this one has been mitigated already. And there's no 1 minute clear zone inside of this 15-minute zone. So we can consider this as a mitigation and this as a break of structure to the upside. And as I said, this zone will be broken. Please show 4 hour zones again. Sorry, but no. If you're late, if you was late, you'll be able to watch the recording.
Yeah,
There's a
hello.
Hey, mate.
Yeah, I have a question, a random question actually, because I remember asking you on Instagram yesterday about because based on what I've watched, I mean, I started watching the back testing videos, because I was asking that what do you do when because I only wait for like maybe the 4 hours and wait for price to tap into 4 hours and look for confirmation. So how do you know like when price is changing towards an opposite direction? How do you trade like within the 15 minutes?
I just sorry. I understand it, but I just explained it 5 minutes earlier. So let's say there's a 4 hour zone down here.
Yeah.
If you're only trading based on the 4 hour zone reactions, you will have to wait for the tap of this zone and only trade after the tap of this zone. But I just explained it 5 minutes earlier. There's plenty of room between this high and this 4 hour zone to be traded. as you can see, there are several 15-minute zones. And I replied to you on Instagram that wait for the 15-minute zone reactions, react on these zones or break off these zones. You could trade based on the 15-minute zones. As I told you 5 minutes earlier, if price reacts on this zone, creates a change of character, you'll be able to trade the upside long order flow. If price breaks below this demand zone, you'll be able to trade the short continuations down to this demand zone. If this zone holds, creates a 1 minute change of character, go long. If this zone breaks, creates a break of this zone, you'll be able to ride the expectation short order flow down to this zone. So there's
All
plenty of room between this high and this demand zone to trade.
To the 4-hour demand zone. Thank you very much, Marcel.
You're welcome, mate. So just basically simply wait for the reaction. Simply wait for the reaction on the 15-minute zones. If you're waiting for a reaction on the 15-minute zone, that will be easy to trade. That will be pretty easy to trade.
All right. Marcel, what part of Hungary are you in?
I live in Page.
Oh, I'm in Debrecen.
Nice, mate. We are far away from each other.
Yeah, we're far away from each other.
Okay. Let me just read the other questions too. How long is the zone valid and unvalid after 50% mitigation? Yeah, basically, if price mitigates the 50% of the zone, that will become invalid. But it depends on the zone. So for example, if there's a 15-minute zone, let's say this is a 15-minute zone, there's a zone inside of this zone on the upper area, and there's a valid zone on the downer area too. So this is the overall zone is the 15-minute zone. Inside of this 15-minute zone, there are 2 1-minute zones. Price mitigates the upper area, but after it breaks and mitigates the downer area. But at the first mitigation, it couldn't mitigate the 50%. It just mitigated maybe 20% of the zone. So it wasn't enough for price. It goes deeper to the downer area, and after it creates a change of character. It depends how many zones you have in a zone, in a higher time frame zone. But for a 1-minute zone, if price mitigates a 1-minute zone, a 50% mitigation is perfectly enough. How long is you already asked this? I have to go, but thank you for the great session. You're very welcome. How long is the zone valid? Unvalid after 50% mitigation. When is an opposite side zone break? Who is in control? Body weak or weak break? It depends on the liquidity. You have to combine this knowledge by the liquidity. If there's a liquidity below the zone, so for example, there's a zone, and below this zone, let me just write it with zone example. So below this zone, there's, for example, bunch of liquidity, triple bottom sitting, and from this movement, price is creating a dimension movement. So this is a 15-minute zone, and let's say price creates 15-minute liquidity sweeping with this movement. By the liquidity, by the fact that knowing there's a liquidity under this demand zone, and price has created a liquidity sweeping week just to sweep this liquidity from below the demand zone, that won't be a break. That will be just a liquidity sweep. But that's exactly in the video course. If we are looking for a sell setup, is it already change of character? You mean on the 1-minute chart? I would rather recommend you to wait for the top of this actual 15-minute zone before taking any actions. And as I said, there will be high impact news in 30 minutes. So just skip trading at this region. I mean, this region until the high impact news hit him. So basically just wait for this zone to be tapped and wait for the high impact news. I get confused by the substructure most. Yeah, it's actually pretty hard to identify the substructure. All you have to do is train your eyes. It can be taught. It can be really taught, because to identify the substructure, you have to train your eyes a lot. You have to backtest a lot. Okay, so just do yourself a favor. Go on the 4-hour chart, go on the 15-minute chart, and just combine the time frames and look at the sub and main structure. You can only train this by actually backtesting. You can only train your eyes. I mean, you can only learn this by training your eyes to identify the substructure. And by time, by muscle memory, because all of these movements will be inside of your muscle memory, inside of your eyes muscle memory, can be learned by the actual backtesting. What do we do if price is coming from a 5-minute unmitigated supply zone, but we are in the 15-minute demand zone? Does this supply? Okay. So you basically just answer your own question. There's a demand zone, there's a supply zone. You say the price is coming from unmitigated supply zone. So it's coming from a supply zone. So at this region, supply is in control, but taps into a demand zone. So demand will be in control if it reacts on it. Supply zone, sorry, let me just change the color. It's confusing. So supply zone, price is coming down, mitigates the demand zone, change of character, demand fully in control. You can trade up to this supply zone.
I have another question, Marcel. Same thing.
Yes.
What if the supply is a four? No, go back, keep that one. What if the supply is a 4 hour and the demand is, say, a 15-minute? What is the possible scenario that could happen there?
Okay, you're saying that this is the 4 hour zone. Price mitigates the 4 hour zone.
Yeah.
Let's say creates a change of character on the 50-minute chart and creates an order flow down to this demand zone, down to this 50-minute demand zone, right?
Yeah.
All you have to do is wait for a reaction. All you have to do is know the overall higher time frame trend. So for example, if the trend is short, the trend is bearish on the 4 hour on the higher time frame, you can expect the break of this zone actually.
Okay.
If there's a high impact reaction, if there's a high volume reaction on this demand zone, so let's say price aggressively changes character on several places and creates a good entry criteria, you'll be able to trade the actual long side of the market. But all about reaction, you don't have to predict shit on this zone. All you have to do is wait for a reaction.
Okay.
If there's a break, you go short. If there's a change of character, you go long. Basically, it's based on this.
Okay, sorry, Marcel, I have a question because I remember you were saying you previously talked about trading off 50-minute zones and waiting for 1 minute reactions.
Okay.
Do you wait for the change of character on the 15 when like price taps into your 15-minute zone? Do you wait for a change of character of 15 minutes or you do change of character of 1 minute?
I just explained it again 10 minutes earlier.
Sorry, I left and I came, I had to come back.
Okay, so just watch the recording because on the beginning of the recording, I explained everything about the correlated timeframes, about the confirmation timeframes. So basically every single timeframe confirms each other's. So if there's a daily zone, 4 hour zone confirms that zone. If there's a 4 hour zone, a 15-minute zone confirms that zone. If there's a 50-minute zone, a 1 minute zone 1 minute chart confirms that zone. So just watch the recording.
All right. Thank you. No problem. That's my advice.
Okay, perfect. So guys, that's enough for today for the live session. I will just send the markups for you real quick after this session. Have you got any more question or it's all clear? We can continue on.
Thanks, it was great.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, just stay for 1 more minute, please. 1 more minute. There will be a session on this Sunday, and I just want to ask what kind of session do you want it to be? A backtesting session, I mean, trade recap videos or price action overview, or what do you want? Lots of you are saying backtesting.
I'm backtesting.
Okay, so there will be a backtesting session on Sunday. That has been decided. Perfect. So guys, okay, I will send you the markups in minutes. I will just make them. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and thank you for being here. I hope you like this session. I hope it was helpful for you to understand the actual higher time frame intentions and actual lower time frame intentions. So yeah, take care, guys. See you soon. Thank you for being here.